David, you are responsible for this automobile masterpiece. Tell me more about the car, please, and the development behind it.
Well, the aim is to create the ultimate track day car, and it's a car that's purpose-built only for use on the track.
Now you're smiling like a 15-year-old that sort of realised something he drew and managed to make it come to life. Is that true?
It's I work together with our design director Marek Reichman and his team to create the combination of the engineering and the sculptural shape of the car, and the brief was what made me smile, because this was like no holds barred, no restrictions of road car legislation, just make the ultimate track car. And so we can create this extreme shape with enormous power and great aerodynamics and very lightweight for the ultimate track thrill.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and the thing that strikes me is that it's all about lines. It's this aerodynamic line, everything sort of pushing the air back, but also the smoothness of the roof, the window lines. There's nothing there, is there?
No, it's a case where the technical function of the car had to stand above the aesthetic form of the car, but in actual fact, in order to achieve the aerodynamics of the car, you create a wonderful shape to look at as well.
And the interesting thing is it actually looks better in the flesh than it does photographed. It's hard to describe, but just looking at this car, it's the subtlety of these creases and so on, isn't it?
The drama of a car that's so wide as well. This car's over 2 meters wide.
It's complete madness.
And yet narrows in quite nicely into the middle of the car. And if we look at some of the detail on the car, obviously the demand for aerodynamic downforce. This car has enough downforce to drive upside down at its maximum speed. So the combination of the fairly extreme splitter at the front of the car.
That's what, 20 mil off the ground or something? It's not a lot, is there?
Front ground clearance should be about 60 mil actually. We might be a little bit low on the model, but
crikey.
And then the combination with a big wing at the back and the aero forms on the side of the car, we're getting huge downforce.
Yes.
And gives great stability at high speed, of course. Forces the car down onto the track.
You can see, looking at this, you can see the air being pushed up through where the bonnet line is as well.
Yeah, so a classic race car ducted cooling system where the air's in here through the radiator and straight back out of the bonnet and up over the roof. And then if we look at the side, the trick with all reducing drag is to get the turbulent air out of the wheel arch, and this cutaway here allows us to extract air very efficiently and stop having a big turbulent wake coming out of the wheel arch at the front here. And so that helps reduce drag.
Now, looking at the exhaust side pipe and so on, I imagine there's also a challenge in how you contain that heat without sort of melting the body off.
Yeah, and that's as we go through the development of the car, we might grow a few slots in the sill panel to extract some of the heat.
Of course.
But the beauty of this is it keeps the heat away from the centre of the car and away from the back end of the car, gets the heat out quickly, and we've got plenty of package space in here to adjust silencer sizes for different track regulations if we have to run the car silenced at certain locations.
Sure. Tell me a bit more about the powertrain, if you will.
So under the bonnet, sitting well back, around about here, behind the front axle centerline, is the ultimate development of our V12 engine, taking everything we've learned from 10 years of racing in GT1 and GT3 at Le Mans and everything we've learned on the road car to create a 7-litre, more than 800 horsepower V12 engine.
It's a complete monster then.
It's the ultimate expression of our V12 engine, yes. That's driving through a cast magnesium torque tube with a carbon fibre drive shaft to an X-Track sequential shift 6-speed transmission at the back, paddle shift controlled, race developed transmission, something that's got the capacity to put all this power and torque down on the road through very grippy, slick tyres.
Looks absolutely magnificent, and of course my eye's drawn to this massive spoiler on the back. Now, I've always had sort of mixed views over spoilers in terms of, whether it's form over function, but this obviously, it wouldn't be there unless it's performing a very important job as such.
No, I think there's a big difference between your tuner spoilers that kids bolt to the back of their hatchbacks and a purpose-built aerodynamic device that creates enormous downforce. And that's why you see all serious race cars wear big wings like this, and if you want this car to give that level of downforce, that's what you get.
The back end's also, just visually, It's as dramatic as the front, isn't it, with this sort of taillight treatment? And
well, I mean, that's a bit of fun really from the designers, because it's an opportunity to develop a light we showed in a concept car last year and create a real working light for it.
I like the whimsy, because it's almost as if they're being left behind by the car.
Yeah.
It's like a design blur, isn't it?
Yeah, and then a big diffuser tunnel under the car to extract the air from underneath and reduce the pressure under the car to aid the downforce.
Absolutely incredible. I suppose it's logical also, as we're standing beside it, to talk about this baby as well, if that's possible.
They're complementary cars in a way, because this is the extreme track car. This is a road car that's been developed for track use as well.
Yes.
And a car that you could still use as your daily drive, but you take it on a racetrack and it will deliver serious track performance with no modifications. So similar principles applied, but not quite so extreme. We've got a nearly 600 horsepower 6-litre V12.
Crikey.
Carbon fibre body panels, just like the Vulcan. It's about 50 millimetres wider than the standard V12 Vantage. It's more than 100 kilograms lighter. It's got wider wheels. It's got some really cool mag alloy centre lock wheels.
Right.
With Michelin sport bias tyres, lightweight interior, and a load of trick parts underneath to take the weight out of it.
I think that's the whole thing. I mean, you always associate Aston Martin with James Bond and so on, and certainly as a child I did. But the fact that Aston are making almost James Bond-esque cars nowadays, in reality you can actually go out and buy something that's this outrageous, is rather exciting, I think.
It is, and it's the Bond thing is an important part of our brand, but these cars are more directly, genuinely inspired by our racing activities. We race a Vantage GT3 all around the world very successfully.
Yes.
And this car is directly inspired and developed from that. And it just shows the importance of racing to the brand. It's at the heart of pretty much everything we do.
In terms, I mean, how available are they? I imagine it's a very, very limited production model. It's not going to be an easy car to get hold of.
We have committed very early that we would only make 100 of these cars, and such has been the excitement on the initial release of information that we have actually completely sold out.
Crikey.
There's and that's a tribute to the shrewdness of our customers and I think the good job we've done in creating the car.
I couldn't agree more. I was going to wish you every success with it, but that's been proven, hasn't it?
It's delighted with that, and we've just started to take first orders for Vulcan as well. We're planning to make 24 of the Vulcan, a little bit more expensive than the GT3, but you might still be in time to get your name down for one of these if you're quick.
Right, I shall have to work on that. I'll have to buy my tickets on Friday. I mean, I suppose it's an unfair question, but having done cars as outrageous as this, I'm guessing that Aston Martin will not continue. You're going to carry on with even more outrageous cars, I guess. We're not going to be disappointed in the future, I guess.
No, I don't think so. I think we're quite good at it, and it's a very important way to build the brand image and create aspiration. Although only 24 people can buy a Vulcan, millions and millions of people will see it, dream about it, fall in love with it, and it sets long-term identity with the brand. From teenagers as a poster car to it's an important part of what we do.
Yeah, I think as much as anything else, it's become a brand of aspiration again, hasn't it? Very much for so many people. It's in everybody's. It's at the forefront of people's thoughts nowadays.
And the other thing not to be underestimated is we can try out design and engineering things on these cars that can find their way fairly quickly into our more mainstream models. I'm not saying for sure, but this light is something the designers have been desperate to try out on a production car.
I love the light, I really do.
If that goes well on this car and we develop that, improve the reduce the cost of making it somewhat, that could maybe find its way into a future mainstream model. So it's a bit of a design and engineering laboratory as well.